Hello guys, we're here on part 3 of our reading entitled Backyard Horses, written by Dandi Daley Mackall. This book is for kids, okay? And it is easy to understand. We're here already on page 53 on part 6 entitled Coincidence, okay? Dad and I do our best to bring Mom up to speed on my imaginary horse and Dad's call from Principal Fishpaw. Then Ethan comes in and we have to explain all over again. Well, if that don't beat the band, as your granny used to say, Mom exclaims. Some coincidence are right, Dad agrees. I grin at Ethan. I know what he is thinking. Ethan says there's no such thing as a coincidence. Only God thinks. Events only God could bring together. I had to agree with my brother on this one. My seeing the same spotted horse Mom lost? Definitely a God thing. So wait a minute, where's the horse now? I have no idea, Mom answers. Are you saying the horse is still out there? She's not still lost, is she? Mary Louise has the entire Hamilton police force out searching, Mom says. Mom, the entire police force means Sheriff Duffy and his deputy, right? And Sheriff Duffy is scared to death of horses, not to mention cows and sheep. True, Mom admits that Sheriff is pretty much all hat and no cattle. She yawns, stretching her long arms and knocking the plaque with our family crest off the wall. She picks it up with a broad sweep of her arm. Mary Louise said if they had any trouble, she'd call the animal control people to come help. No, I cry. You can't let animal control get to that horse. You know what they do to homeless animals? I know what they do to them. They put them to sleep. I didn't think of that. Mom admits. She grabs her keys off the table. You're right. I lost that horse, and it's up to me to find it. It's my civic duty. She aims a half smile at my dad, who is used to her civic duty. There's meatloaf in the fridge, Lenny. Babe, do you have to go? Dad begs. Can they get along without you for once? Mom shakes her head. I feel responsible. I've never lost a horse before. Dad frowns at the papers scattered across the table. Then he scoots his chair back and stands tall. If my dad had two heads, one on top of the other, he'd be almost as tall as my mom. I'm coming with you. You're going to need help. Mom leans over and down to kiss Dad's cheek. You are one sweet man, Lenny James, but a cowboy you're not. Cowboy, you're not. That's saying it nicely. I've never seen my dad on a horse. As the story goes, he only rode once when he was a toddler. I guess he fell off and landed on his head. I take Mom's hand. Come on, Mom. We have to find that spotted horse before the animal control guys do. Mom doesn't argue. She knows I'm her only chance of rescuing that rescue horse. We jump into the car and Mom heads toward Main Street. Gravel crunches under our wheels. After 2 blocks, Mom turns into Main Street. It's the only street that goes through town. She drives past the library, the bank, and the hardware store and up to the only stoplight. It blinks red instead of changing colors. She stops for half a second, then goes again. Maybe we should check out by the cemetery, I suggest. People would have noticed a horse on Main Street. Mom spins a U-turn, hangs a left, and drives toward the cemetery. What if they already caught the mare? I ask, bouncing with the bumpy road. Mary Louise promised to call me if they did, Mom says, and I haven't heard from her yet. I scan each cross street we pass. When the gravel turns to dirt, I look for hoof prints, but I don't see any. Mom drives out of town a couple of miles in each direction. Usually, I gaze out the window and imagine riding my black horse over the green Missouri hills. But right now, I'm too busy searching for a runaway horse. Mom's cell phone rings. I'll get it. I'm scared to death it's going to be Mary Louise telling us the animal control people have the horse. The cell is in the bottom of Mom's huge purse. The ringtone is almost over. An Elvis song that makes me want to fling the whole purse out the window when I finally get to it. Hello? Ellie, the caller sounds confused. I think it's Colt. Colt? I'm the only kid on the planet who doesn't have a cell phone, so Colt calls Mom if he thinks I'm with her. Yeah, it's Colt. I can talk now. Mom and I are trying to find a lost horse before. I know, he shouts. I called your house to tell you. Your dad said to call the cell. They found it. What? The horse. They found the horse, Colt says. Where? Is she alright? The phone crackles. I turn to Mom. Hurry! Head back to town. Then I scream into the phone. Colt, where's the horse? Colt's voice mixes with the crackles of the phone. At school, and you'd better get here fast. I have a feeling this old nag is running out of time. Okay, part 7, the chase. Hurry, Mom. I grip the dashboard as Mom wheels back to town. Sorry, Ellie, Mom says. I can't afford to get another speeding ticket. But what if we're too late? What if the animal control guys get there first? What if? Stop what ifing. Your engines is overdrive and nobody's driving. I'm not sure I get that one. I try to stop imagining what might be happening at the school right now. Only I can't stop. The muddy spotted horse staggers across the school lawn. The wobbles in the fading sunlight, their sides heaving. Four animal control guys dressed in white stand in the corner of the yard and hurl a net into the air. It crashes down on the poor horse, knocking her to the ground. A guy from animal control smirks at the crowd. His face is scarred. His eyes are glowing beads of fire. What say ya? He asked the crazed crowd. 100 feet rise, 100 tons turn down. Dead to the nag, they cry. The people in white yank the net. It closes on the horse. They drag her off to their cage on wheels, and thankfully Mom slams the brakes, stopping the car and my imagination. Will you look at that crowd? Mom exclaims. I gaze out my window at all the people in the streets, in the schoolyard, everywhere. Mom leans on the steering wheel. Surely they can't all be there for that little horse. I hurry out of the car. Not only are the animal control people here, but the town's 2 police cars are parked on the school lawn. Orange cones block off the roads in all directions. Even the fire truck is here. It looks like half of the town found the horse before we did. I spot called up the street and run to meet him. Ellie shouts, waving both arms like he's directing traffic. Larissa is with him. She doesn't wave, not even with one arm. Cool, huh? Colt says when we meet up in the center of the street. What are these people all doing here? Where's the horse? What's going on? For the millionth time, I wish I were taller. I can't see over the heads in the crowd. It's been awesome, Colt exclaims. Nobody can catch that skinny horse. Larissa takes a sip from a long, curly straw poke into her pink drink. The giant plastic cap says, Crazy Larry's Dairies. All this fuss over a backyard horse? She says this without bothering to look up from her Crazy Larry's cup. Backyard horse? I repeat. Larissa sighs. That's what my mother calls them, backyard horses. You know, a horse without papers, not registered, probably not even a purebred. The kind of nag somebody would keep in the backyard instead of paying to board it in a stable. I stare at her and wonder why God gave Larissa Rich Land a champion show horse. Her horse has probably never even seen Larissa's back backyard. Castor's darling delight, great horse, silly name, goes directly from the Elite KC stables to the horse show ring and back again. I start to argue with her, then stop. I don't have time for this. Suddenly the crowd lets out an oh wow. Larissa, Colt and I spin around to say, there it goes again. Colt laughs. What? I stand on tiptoes and try to see, but I'm too short. Too many heads are in the way. What's happening? That horse just dodged Annette. Colt explains. Annette? It's like I imagined. This is not good. I have to see what's going on. I leave Colt and Larissa and take off running for the horse. You're not supposed to go up there. Larissa calls after me. You're going to get in trouble. Anyway, it's just a backyard nap, Kelly. I ignore her and her sing-song threat just because her horse wins trophies all over the state doesn't give her the right to make fun of other horses. But she does it all the time. My friend Rashon has a sweetie gray farm horse named Dusty. Larissa calls her Musty or Rusty and laughs about it every time, like she's so funny. Rashon's best friend Cassandra has a Shetland pony, and Larissa is always making fun of him too. She calls him Phony Pony. I elbow my way through the crowd. Excuse me, please. Watch where you're going, kid. I glance up to see a guy in a baseball cap that says Channel 5 News. He has a video camera strapped to one hand. Two more cameras dangle around his neck. Next to him, 6 middle school girls are snapping photos with themselves. Finally, I break through the back. Somebody behind me gasped. I look up in time to see the spotted horse trot right in front of us. It's the first good look I've gotten of the horse. I hate to admit it, but if Larissa ever had the right to make fun of a horse, this would be the one. If anything, the mare is dirtier than when I saw her the first time, and skinnier. I could count her ribs from here. Her backbone sticks up so far she looks sway back, although I don't think she is. What mane she has is knotted into tangles of burrs and sticks. Her dingy black and white tail looks shorter than Miss Hernandez's ponytail. The horse takes off again, cheering chunks out of the school lawn with her hooves. People scatter out of the way. I spot Principal Fishbowl. His face is as red as Larissa's hair. I'm not sure if he is screaming at the pinto or at everybody else. On the other side of the lawn, Sheriff Duffy waves his cowboy hat at the horse and shouts, "Shoo!" When the pinto keeps trotting toward him, the sheriff explodes at his deputy. Get her, Jeremy. Then he dodges behind a tree. If Sheriff Duffy thinks he's hiding behind a tree, he's wrong. His bill sticks out on both sides. I need to get closer to the horse, but I don't want to scare her. She's had enough of humans. I dash to the maple tree I observe every day from my classroom. Press against the rough bark, I can hear the pinto's breath coming in snorts. The sound seems to be getting closer with each breath. Carefully, I peek around the tree for a better look. The pinto is so close, I could touch her spots if I had longer arms. She is definitely spotted black and white under all that mud. One spot on her back really is shaped like a saddle. Without measuring her, I can't tell if she's over 14.2 hands, which would make her a horse instead of a pony. Her neck looks long, but it might be because it's so skinny, and that might be why her ears look too big for her head. All in all, this horse is not much to look at, but she sure can run. Chase her this way. A tall man in a white uniform shouts from the other side of the lawn. This guy I recognize. Mr. Yankee. Excuse me. Okay. All in all, this horse is not much to look at, but she sure can run. Chase her this way. A tall man in a white uniform shouts from the other side of the lawn. This guy I recognize, Mr. Young from Animal Control. About a year ago, he captured Squash, our cat, and Squash wasn't even lost. He's just wandered off to explore. He would have come home if Mr. Young had left him alone. We had to fight and pay $50 to get our own cat back. Mr. Young has something in his hands. Sunlight Sunlight gleams off the object when he lifts it and points it at the Pinto. I have to find out what he's holding and what he's planning to do with it. I shoot off a prayer. Then I step from my hiding place and jog over to him. Okay, I've almost made it when from the far end of the lawn I hear yee ho. I spin around to see the other person from animal control. Yankee's partner. She's waving her arms and running behind the Pintos. The four-horse lunges left, but Sheriff Duffy is there, screaming. With a screech like that, he could star in a horror movie. The horse breaks right, but the deputy is there. Then the animal control lady, the sheriff, and his deputy join forces to chase the Pinto up the lawn and straight toward Mr. Young. I can still see that silver thing in his hand. Ellie, Mom comes running up. I've been searching all over for you, and she gasped. Oh no, he's not going to. Mom, what? What he's going to do? The thing in his hand, she whispers. I think it's a gun, stun gun. Okay, on part 8, entitled Cough. I know what a stun gun is. I've seen it on TV. Policemen use it to shock bad guys. That thing can zap even a big man off his feet. But this Pinto isn't a bad guy. She didn't do anything wrong. The only reason she's running away is because everybody's chasing her. With the sheriff, the deputy, and the animal control lady coming after her, the Pinto breaks into an unsteady gallop. She's getting closer and closer to me, and to Yankee, who is ready with his stun gun. The siren on the fire truck goes off. People are shouting. It's a disaster movie. The only thing missing is a sky filled with helicopters to film the big event. That's it, Mr. Yankee. I leap in front of him and point to the sky. Are those helicopters? Are they filming us? Mr. Yankee's eyes grow big. He lowers his stun gun and straightens his cup. Then he peers up at the sky just as the Pintos races past us. I don't see any helicopters. Really? I take a step back. Oh, guess I'm seeing things. Sheriff Duffy is the first to reach us. He glares at Yankee. What happened? You left that nug run right past you. The deputy is behind him. Yeah, we had him right where we wanted him. Here, I correct. The three of them frown at me. Yankee's partner storms up to him. She whips off her cap and smacks it against her thigh. What gives? You could have reached out and stunned that creature and been done with this whole circus. Mr. Yankees jumps in. Well, I was going to stun her, then this kid, he glares at me. I smile back at them. He's right, Mr. Yankee was totally ready to stun that horse all by himself. Mr. Yankee gives them an I told you so nod and waits for me to finish. That's because, how did you put it, Mr. Yankee? Everybody else there is too chicken-livered, scared to help. Everybody else here is too chicken-livered, scared to help. Hey, the sheriff cries. I wasn't scared. Me neither, his deputy claims. You're the one who hates horses. Yankee's partner mutters. Me? Yankee shouts. What about you? I leave them shouting each other while I sneak off to find the Pinto. The crowd has thinned. It's starting to get dark and I've lost sight of the horse. Then I see her by the flagpole. I move in closer and I can see every muscle of the horse's skinny back quivering. She looks ready to fly out of the second she senses danger. I'm no danger, I just have to convince her of that. Hey girl, I say in a cheery voice as I inch closer to her. Behind me I hear Colt's voice. Stand back, people. Give Ellie a chance. She's good with horses. I'm grateful to call for holding back the crowd, so I tell the painter, a quite you've had quite a day. Me too. Don't get me started. First I see you, but nobody believes me. Then I keep a steady stream of bubble going. Inside I'm praying, although I'm not even sure what I'm saying, inside or out. I figure God understands. Anyway, I carefully inch toward the mare. Who likes to be chased, right? She sidesteps. Whoa, now. She takes a few steps backward. I go with her. I stop, and she stops. Now what? I keep talking. Sure glad we found you. Miss Pinto, my mom's really sorry she lost you. She loses things a lot, but you're the first horse she's lost. The shutter isn't working anymore. I can see the muscles in the Pinto's shoulders knot. She's thinking about bolting. I don't know what to do to stop her. She'll run away. She'll be lost again. Before I realize what I'm doing, I hear myself singing. I once was lost, but now, um, am found. Was blinked, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet this sound. The Pinto's big, fuzzy ears pick up. I keep singing, even though Granny used to say I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket with the lid on. I take a step toward the horse, and she doesn't move away. I've watched Mr. Harper catch the horses. He lets us ride in horsemanship practice. And I've noticed a funny thing about those horses. They play hard to get. If Mr. Harper walks into a pasture full of horses, the only one that runs from him is the one he wants. I've always wondered what would happen if he pretended he was there for a different horse. It's worth a try now. This Pinto sure has been playing hard to get. I keep singing as I walk closer to her, but I look past her, off to the side, like I'm going for a different horse, not her. I get so close I feel heat of her sweetie neck. Slowly, without looking at her, I reach up and scratch under her neck. She lets me. I ease my hand up toward her mane. With my arm draped around the horse, I start singing again. This time I sing my own words to the tune of Amazing Grace. I need a rope for this spotted horse. Want somebody slip me a rope, 'cause if you don't, this horse will loop. And will I catch her? Nope. I keep singing that thanks to Dad's soap jingle, I know so many words that rhyme with rope. She should stop singing, Larissa complains. That's not how the song goes. But Cold gets in. He disappears for a minute. When he comes running back, he's carrying a rope behind his back. I don't know where he found it, and I don't ask. He slips it to me. I loop it around the Pinto's neck and pull the end through. And I've got myself a deep rope. I take a step, and so does the Pinto. The way she's panting, I'm not too worried about her running off on me now. Mr. Yankee comes jogging up to us. I wish he wouldn't. I can feel the Pinto tense up at the sight of him. All right then, he says. You shouldn't stand so close to that horse, girl. Don't know what you were thinking. I'll take it from here. He reaches for my rope. I don't think so, I say. Well, maybe it wouldn't hurt for you to take her on up into my trailer. The Pinto swishes her tail. Mr. Yankee jumps back. I still don't think so, I tell her. I'm taking her back to I stop myself before I mention the cat farm to the animal farm. The what? Yes, well done, Ellie. Mom comes running up. She's barefoot, carrying her sandals. I wish your father could have seen that. She narrows her eyes at Mr. Yankee. Can we help you? I told your girl here that she could put that horse in my trailer, or she could hand it over to me now. And I told Mr. Yankee that I was taking the Pinto back to the animal farm. I wink at Mom and pray she takes the cue. What she's talking about? He asked. Does she mean that cat farm north of town? They don't have horses out there. Mom grins at him. They do now. Okay, on part 9, titled Journey. Mom stands Mom stands side by side with me and the Pinto as Mr. Yankee storms off to his empty horse trailer. Behind us, I hear clapping. Wild applause bursts out across the schoolyard. I look around to see what everybody's clapping about. Take a bow, Ellie, Cole shouts. Me? They're clapping for me. I see our mailman, Mr. Blackburn, and my first grade teacher, Miss Tomlin, and two high school girls. Two high school girls, cheerleaders for the Hamilton Hornets. They're all clapping for me. The Pinto starts dancing around. She doesn't like the noise. With only the rope around her neck, I don't think I could hold her if she took off on me. Somebody tosses me a holder. I reach out and catch it. It's an extra I had in the truck, Mr. Harper says. Thanks, Mr. Harper, I call back. Sometimes people turn out to be even nicer than I thought they were. From somewhere in the thinning crowd, Larissa's swine comes through. Big deal. So she got an ugly backyard horse. And sometimes people aren't nicer than I thought. I slip on the halter and buckle it. It's a little big, but it should do the trick. Then I fasten the rope. I'll lead her to the cat farm, I tell Mom. Honey, it must be 2 miles to that barn. She glances at Mr. Yankee's trailer. Maybe we could. No way, Mom. It's safer if I walk her, okay? Mom sighs. Alright, I'll call your father and let him know we'll be late. We set out at a slow pace, taking the back roads. The sun's drop out of sight, but I can see all right. Once I let the Pintos gaze along the wrong side, but she's take only one bite of clover. Then she jerks her head up and snorts, like she expects somebody to take it away from her. No wonder she's so skinny. Who owned her before she ended up here? Who owned her before she ended up here? I like to know what they do to make her so skittish. I sing to her for most of the journey. Whenever I stop, she prances sideways and begins trembling again. So I ran through every song I can think of. Colt would be rolling in the ditch laughing if she were here. He says Ethan is lucky because he can't hear me sing. Takes us an hour to get to the cat farm. The whole time Mom follows me in her car. I didn't know cars could go that slow, but I'm thankful for that headlights because by the time I get to the barn, it's pitch dark. I'm not sure who's more tired, the Pinto, Mom, or me. There's a stunk of water in the corner stall, Mom says. She goes into the barn first and pulls a string that turns on and overhead light shadows streak the barn's floor, which she cuts out of the stall. The Pinto walks straight in and starts drinking. I watch her long, skinny neck stretch to the water tank and gulp, gulp, gulp. You're really thirsty, aren't you, girl? I stroke the soft underside of her neck and feel the water shoes down. I unshook the lead rope but leave her halter so she won't be so hard to catch. Together, Mom and I drag down a bale of hay from the loft. Then we cover the stall floor with a layer of straw. It's not easy because a million cats swarm around our feet while we work. It's a miracle the Pinto doesn't step on any of them. A scrawny calico cat jumps onto the Pinto's back and curls up there, purring. Spots on spots. Expect the mare to back her off, but she doesn't. Let's go home, Ellie, Mom says. I'm dead on my feet and running on empty. I latch the stall door behind me and take one last look at the horse. I sure hope somebody can get those burrs out of her mane and tail. She needs a good brushing too. We trudge to the car and head home. Outside my car window, the moon looks like someone. Outside my car window, the moon looks like someone took a bite out of it. What's going to happen to her? I asked. I'll make some calls tomorrow, Mom says. Yawning behind the wheel. We'll find somewhere that can take her. She'll be fine. I nod, but I can't help thinking that horse hasn't been fine for a long time, maybe ever. At home, Ethan and Dad make us give them a blow-by-blow description of the great horse rescue. By the time I crawl into bed, it's really late. I say my prayers anyway, like I do every night. I know I need to talk to God more during the day, but I forget. Sometimes a whole day goes by and I haven't even said hey to God, so at least I make sure to check in at night. That was really something today. God, thanks for helping me catch that pinto. Please take care of her from now on. Find somebody to come out that mane of hers and brush her and trim her hooves and flatten her up. Fatten her up. It's hard to get the picture of the pinto out of my mind. Just before we left, she turned her neck and looked right at me. Then the nickered. It was a soft mumble that sounded like a thank you. After I pray for your mom and Todd and Ethan and everybody, I do what I've done every night for the past 6 or 7 years. I ask God to give me a beautiful black stallion, a show horse that could win the Hamilton Royal Horse Show. My bedroom window opens into our backyard. Sometimes at night, after I finish praying for a horse, I imagine one coming to visit me. Tonight, I picture myself opening my window in a black stallion, cantering up and sticking his head in so I can pet him and kiss him soft muzzle. As I drift off to sleep, I can almost hear him nicker. On part 10, on part 10, entitled Worry. I don't see why we have to go through with this parent teacher principal meeting now that everybody in town knows. Ellie really did see a spotted horse from her classroom. Dad says, Mom is driving us to school for the dreaded meeting. Ethan is along for the ride. I agree with Dad, I say, helpfully. Ellie, Mom says, glancing into the rear view mirror glancing into the rearview mirror for eye contact. What did your teacher say when you asked her about the meeting? She said, Mr. Fishbowl still wants to talk with us. I mumble. Exactly. She says, well, Dad complains. It makes a rotten end to a perfect day. You had a perfect day? I asked. My day wasn't perfect, not even close. A few kids congratulated me on catching the ugly horse, but even more people teased me about it. Plus, I forgot to write up my plan for the science experiment, so I'm ready down 5 points. Yes, a perfect day, Dad repeats. Thank you. Thanks to you, Ellie. Me? You gave me hope. Then I remember your jingle. Did the soap people like it? They love it. We got the count. Dad smiles at me from the front seat. Couldn't have done it without your rhyme. Way to go, Dad. Ethan taps Dad's shoulder and signs. Congratulations. I know you'd pull it off, Lenny, Mom says. That must have gone down finer than frog's hair with your boss. I believe Miss Warden was as happy as I've ever seen her, Dad says. The corners of her mouth turn up for a full 3 seconds. Moira Stevens, on the other hand, stormed out of the boardroom without a word. Quite surprising. After what Cole told me about how much his mother wants that promotion, I'm not surprised at all. I hardly see Moira anymore, Mom says. She turns in to the school parking lot. We chat on the phone sometimes, but all she talks about is that promotion. Does she realize um, does she realize she'll have to be away from her family for weeks at a time if she gets that job? That's drugs. Speaking of being away, what's up with Jeff Stevens? I haven't seen Jeff around for weeks. I know he travels and whatnot. Dad lowers his voice and stops signing, which makes me think something's up at Cole's house. Part of me wants to pray that Cole's mom doesn't get that promotion. Part of me wants to pray that my dad doesn't get it either. I'd hate for him to gun all the time. And this is one of the confusing things about praying. What if I'm praying my dad won't get that promotion, but he's praying he will? I ask God to watch out for cold. I'll let God figure out the rest. Dad tries to talk Mom out of the meeting at school right up to the second we knock on the principal's office door. Maybe I should wait here with Ethan, he suggests. Ethan has already claimed the only folding chair in the hallway. He is lost in his graphic novel. You're being silly, Lenny, Mom says, knocking again. The door cracks open. My principal sticks out his head. He frowns at us like he suspects we're secretly here to rob the place. Finally, he swings the door wide open and motions us to his inner office. No one goes to the fishbowl inner office unless they're in serious trouble. 3 kids went in and never came out. At least that's what Colt's big sister, Shara, told us. We follow Principal Fishbowl single file. He towers over all of us except Mom and reach back. I reach back and take hold of Dad's hand, but it's too sweetie, so I let go again. I don't think Dad notices. My teacher greets us and shakes Mom's and Dad's hands. I catch her wiping her hand on her blue and white sweat pants after she shakes Dad's hand. Thank you so much for coming, Miss Hernandez. Points to the 3 small chairs across the desk from the principal's king-size chair. Please take a seat. She leans against the edge of the desk and my principal takes his throne. As usual, Principal Fishbowl is wearing a suit, socks, and sandals. Sometimes in the winter, he wears shoes with no socks. It's a mystery. It's about twice the size of my dad. He said makes me think of our lawn with foots of grass in odd places. Principal Fishbowl fixes his gaze on my dad. Leonard, it's good to see you here again. Leonard, nobody calls Dad Leonard. He's just Lenny or Dad. That doesn't correct the principal. Thank you, sir, he says. Bring back memories, doesn't it? My principal asks. You and me sitting across this very desk after I called you to the principal's office. Sit forms in tiny balls across Dad's forehead. Well, that was a long time ago. Not so long ago. Principal Fishbowl bellows as if my dad is trying to pick a fight with him. Dad tries to grin, but it looks like he has a stomach ache. Yes, well, I guess we should have called off this meeting. Call off the meeting? Principal Fishbowl roars. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Dad grips the seat of his chair as if Principal Fishbowl's roar might blow him out of the office. I mean, since Ellie did see the horse and whatnot. Mr. Hernandez smiles at me. I owe you. Okay. I owe you an apology, Ellie. When you shouted in class that you saw a horse, I admit I thought it was your imagination talking. Wait a minute, Principal Fishbowl glares at my dad. What do you mean your daughter saw a horse from her classroom? Were you there, Leonard, in that classroom? Have you decided to repeat 4th grade? Dad clears his throat. Well, no, of course not. I have a job, a very good job. So what you're telling me is that you weren't there. You didn't see any horses from the 4th grade window, did you? You have no way of knowing if Ellie saw that imaginary horse. Well, that's Summers. When you put it like that, Dwayne, Mom stops. Dad, Miss Hernandez and I turn to Mom, but she has locked her glare into my principal. Yes, Bev, Principal Fishbowl answers. My mom never had Mr. Fishbowl as a principal because she didn't grow up here, but she knows everybody in Hamilton. She's on the school board and president of the parent-teacher organization. Jane Fishbowl, Mom slaps the desk and we jump. It's high time to use the sense the good Lord gave you here. Not only did Ellie see the horse, but I saw this imaginary horse with my own 2 eyes. Now, are you going to quit bullying my husband and apologize to my daughter or not? You were wonderful, Bev, Dad explains for the 10th time as we fall into the car. Nonsense, Mom says. That man would start an argument with a grapefruit. Okay, this is the end of our part 3. Okay, thank you so much for reading with me, guys.